Hi, welcome to Learn with Sawgrass, the Wednesday edition, which is actually the Tuesday edition on Wednesday. I am Rhonda, the Education Manager here at Sawgrass, and you probably noticed I have a special guest. Lori Donovan is joining me. So Lori is one of our users. She's also one of our brand ambassadors, our product ambassadors, and she's very active on social for us. She's here with us all week this week. So Lori, you having fun? We've put you to work.
I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the work, so.
There you go. So Lori's working on some projects for us. So she's here in the office using our presses, using our 50,000 printers. And so Lori, thank you for all your help this week.
Thank you for having me. I am really enjoying it, and it's nice to actually come into the office and have a personal conversation with those people that I normally just email with.
Yeah, you got to have a nice long talk with the care team yesterday.
Yes, I
and
did.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so they're your friends. I know you send lots of people their way. So
Yes, I do.
Glad you got to talk to them. And then Lori's Thursday night workshop will go off as usual, except Lori will be sitting most likely here to do her workshop, and then I'll be somewhere. But we will be here on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, for Lori's normal software workshop. So please make sure to join us for that too. And let's go ahead and get started. So I did allude to this. This is what I had planned for yesterday's workshop. I am sorry, there are a lot of moving pieces this week, and unfortunately, I just could not pull off a workshop yesterday. So luckily, today's was on text-based designs. We're going to get to talk about that a little bit because of the designs that we are doing. So that's going to work out pretty well. So let's go ahead and jump in. So, well, I guess, nah. I'll do housekeeping now, because if I leave housekeeping to the end, I'm going to forget housekeeping. So we did finally get Judith from Luna Lee. We did get her podcast loaded on Monday. So please check that out. It's some great tips for getting organized and prepared for holiday selling. She's got some really great information in there, so make sure and check that one out. We do have another one that you're going to see loaded. We're going to talk more about that. We kind of wanted to space them out as far as publicizing them, but one of our newest dealers in Europe, in England, is Longford, and we sat down with them on the podcast. I think it's probably one of my favorites, honestly. If you like my little questions at the beginning, my little quirky question section, it's some of the best answers ever. Have you heard it yet?
No, I did not listen yet. Yeah. I have to listen to Judith and the Longford one, but
yeah, well,
I think I'm going to save that for the plane.
You should, and you are going to laugh out loud because there's some really good answers in there. So make sure and check out those podcasts. We do have Quick Tips dropping this week. We will have Quick Tips dropping next week in the Academy, which is our YouTube channel. We will not have workshops next week. One of the reasons why I was not able to pull one off yesterday is we are preparing for our show down in Orlando with Printing United. If you can get by our booth, I am doing demos all 3 days, 3 times per day. I'm doing a variety of projects. You've seen all my stuff.
Yes, lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. I have a table full of products that we're taking down to Orlando. So if you are going to Printing United, please join me. Hopefully you'll enjoy our little workshops down there. But because of that, there will be no workshops next week, so nothing on Tuesday or Wednesday. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in.
But my workshop will not change next week.
Right.
Don't let's hers change, mine don't. We just won't have a Rhonda next week. We will find a substitution.
Yeah, I'm assuming Rhodes, though I haven't asked him yet. He's nodding. So Rhodes will be with Lori next Thursday night. And then I guess the other thing to do is to go ahead and jump in.
Yeah.
So today was supposed to be text-based projects. Yesterday was supposed to be multiple crafting technologies. Now, I realized once I got all my projects set, and I'm really excited about them, is they're really multiple crafts in one, more than multiple technologies in one. There is a way that I'm going to show you where one would actually come in really handy. So we're going to talk about that actually kind of on both. So you ready to get started?
Yep.
All right. So our bases today are both going to be wood bases. We're going to start with these 2 wood rounds. And this is actually one you found, right?
Yes,
or a variation on one you found.
Since VersaFlex has come out, I have fallen into this rabbit hole of watching all of these reels from other crafting types and trying to figure out how I can change that to be VersaFlex.
Yep.
In any way. So I keep part of the initial, the original crafting idea, but then use VersaFlex for the main portion of it.
Yeah, and this one's actually kind of cool because no matter how you craft, this actually works. These are just 2 different sizes of wood rounds. You've seen it even where it's 2, like the other one is bigger and they're stacked. The one I like is where this is kind of glued here. We're going to make a turkey. But as far as decorating the face, as far as adding a word, you really could do this any of the ways. You could do this with paint. You could do this with, if you're doing this with a child, you could clearly do googly eyes and then use felt for the beak. I was going to call it a nose for the beak. So you really could go different ways with this. If you use a lot of vinyl with vinyl cutting, you could definitely do just vinyl for the face and then for the word. I am going to print and press both the face and the body. You could do vinyl for the body. So there's a couple of different ways, and we're going to talk about an extra little thing you could do with it too. All right, so with this one, I went ahead and did these in Adobe Illustrator. So these are already on my desktop. I did these yesterday. And I think I'm actually just going to put these on the same page. Okay. So I do have 11 by 17 in my printer. I know this is a waste of paper, so I apologize. But we'll go ahead and space these out really well. It's very seldom that you get to put 3 inches between anything. And I'm probably going to center it just because I would rather cut. Yeah, there we go. All right. And so the face, I assume this is about 2 inches across. The body, I assumed, is about 4 inches across, and that's kind of the area I worked with. I'll show you my color palettes for fall as we get into the second project, but I did use the Lori Donovan technique and do some Googling on that.
Never fails. You always get a good palette that way.
You do. You really do. All right, so let's make sure everything's set. I've got this centered. Don't really need to worry about crop to image area on this. These look great. I am adjusting for light colors, of course, because that orange, I think, does need it. I'm going to go ahead and change this to my uncoated wood. Now, Lori, do you ever turn off the adjust for light colors, or do you just leave it on?
I'm always so paranoid that a light color snuck in there that I just leave it on because it doesn't hurt anything.
It doesn't, and it doesn't use a tremendous extra amount of expand or anything.
No, I'm not seeing that at all.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like it's, leave it on, it's intuitive, it's going to know what to do. And I've never run into any issues with it being oversaturated, so.
All right, we went ahead and hit print. Hopefully this is the right printer and it's coming. I bumped my...
Very important part, pull this out.
Yeah.
Or you turn into an athlete.
You do. And you know, when we talk about things that we hear about VersaFlex, one of the biggest things we hear is about the difficulty of handling it because it is wet. And the second project is going to be a great one for that. This one really, because these are two small pieces, the biggest things I have to do is make sure this is out so it doesn't fall on the floor. And then the other thing I'm going to do is when I cut this in a second, I'm just going to be careful of where my hands are. We do always, it does work best to keep it slightly bigger than the print area, or than the print. You really want to make it kind of bigger than the product. It really just helps with the peeling off.
It gives you that little bit of something to grasp.
It does, yep. You don't want too much because it does tend to just get in the way. But let's go ahead. And I'm going to do these one by one. You are seeing I printed them at the same time. One of the things I do hear a lot, or I get asked about a lot, is, you know, with it having to go on wet, you know, how fast you have to be. Today you're going to see me push the limits on this, and I'm sorry that when I'm at the press you're not going to see me really great, but that is just perfectly fine. It's more about the press than it is me.
They can see.
They can see. All right, good. Oh, and by the way, Rhodes is in the chat, so if you do have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat, and Rhodes will make us aware. All right. All right, so this is one where I think I'm going to be best off if I drop it on and then flip it over. I do hear a lot of concern about it going on wet, that you can't reposition it. It's not something that I really struggled with a lot, needing to reposition it. And then the other thing is, I think some people are concerned that it's so wet, it's just going to smear. It's very hard to smear it, right, Lori?
Yeah, it's hard to. And it's one of those things that once you get it, once it clicks, it sticks. It's going to be awkward at first, but as you go, you will pick up on it.
Okay, so I had this set for the other way.
Oh. Oops.
Yeah. So this probably is not going to work, but that's okay. I have another round to redo the face, so not a biggie. Yep, and now it's 2.
Well, maybe we'll get lucky because it's not shifting. You're not pulling up. We could get lucky.
Just so you know, if there's a mistake, it's you see why. In the moving parts of getting ready, I had this set for the other project and not for this one. And it is a much thicker piece of wood. So Lori's going to remind me on the next one to reset the press before I put it inside. Look at that.
It worked.
It worked. Okay, good. And I think the 2 pieces of wood look identical, correct? Height-wise.
Yeah.
This one I'm going to click up just a bit. All right, cool.
And I love how, look at that, the middle piece, the band
knot
on the wood went perfect into the nose.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, the knot went right into the beak. Beak, not nose.
Yeah.
It is a little turkey. So yeah, that's perfect. I love that. All right, this is slightly thicker, so I'm going to turn it up 1 or 2 real quick. Hey, just another way of showing that that you can let that sit a little bit longer. Oh, and you are noticing we are using a different press today. My normal press is fine. It is actually on a truck to Orlando. It's the one I'm going to be using down there. All right, perfect. Okay, now this one I'm going to do a little bit different. And here's why. I need this word to be towards the bottom of the turkey. So this is what I call, one of our users, Joel, likes to trademark things for himself. So this is my trademark phrase. It's called the hover and drop. So I'm going to hover this. I'm going to put my hand underneath just so I can see how close this is to the bottom. Get this where I want it. You see my hands are on the bottom of the press. And so I'm just going to drop it now. Now, Lori, I have found, and it just happened in case anyone noticed, my paper shifted slightly and my ink doesn't smear. Have you noticed that
Yeah,
too?
I've had some I mean, if you are, yes, if you're like really,
Yeah.
then you're going to get it to smear. But that little bit with the, when the paper kind of flies with the press, no.
And it
It's-
really depends on the material because I've done like MDF clipboards. I've done this, no issue with it. That wood over there that we're going to use in a minute, that would definitely
Right.
smear it. There's no doubt in my mind.
Fabric, it's because it is wet, it actually works really well because it kind of sticks to the fabric and you don't have that issue at all.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Okay. I'm so excited. All right. So, you ready, Rhodes?
Hold it up.
Oh, that
Look
turned out
at
so good.
that.
Perfect. Wow, that looks great.
Isn't it? Okay, great. So I don't want to, I've already put a lot of stuff on top of this. So I don't want to put any more. Okay. All right. I'm going to wiggle my cords real quick, get them out of the way. I'm throwing paper on the floor. All right.
You want me to take your computer?
No, I'll need it again. All right. So, okay. So I went to Michael's and I bought one pick. So one set of these beautiful flowers. Are those sunflowers?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so I've got a pick of these beautiful sunflowers. I have used clippers to cut off two, so wire snippers work, regular floral cutters work, of course, too. And I cut off two. So this flower is for our next project. So that one's sitting over there. But for this one, I cut this off. I pulled off, like there's a, well, you can see it on this one. There's this green piece on the back. I pulled this off and I have cut off some of the flowers. So we're gonna use those in just a second. So let's first, I guess it doesn't matter as long as I stay on the bottom half. And I'm gonna try really hard not to burn myself today, Lori.
That would be good.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I could send you some of those silicone fingertips.
you probably should. All right, we're gonna put this, I think I realized yesterday, I want this kind of low. Okay.
Oh, he's cute.
Isn't he adorable?
He is so
Now,
cute.
these can be place cards, so I was talking about how to put those other technologies in. You could put names on here if you're using them as place cards. Now, you said something interesting about what people do to get this to stand up.
Okay. If you go to the craft store and you get the craft stems and you glue two to the bottom, it makes it stand up.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking that Zelda and I are going to do for our Thanksgiving
Now,
place
and you
cards.
said like the Jenga blocks too,
Oh,
right?
Jenga blocks, yes. You can go to the Dollar Tree and get a set of Jenga blocks, and you just glue one to the back, and then if you want it as like a fireplace mantle, a wall
Yeah.
leaner, it's got that block.
Yeah.
But like I said, what I think Zelda and I are going to do for place settings for Thanksgiving is that we're going to make everybody a turkey and use the craft sticks.
Okay, so I have cut flower petals off and now this is where you get burned.
You know what? Use the end of your thing to tap down,
That would be smart.
and then you don't get the hot glue on your fingers.
That would be pretty intelligent. It's actually, for some reason, these are thick enough that it's not happening. Can you cut me maybe like 4 more?
Sure.
Please.
And with projects like this, I mean, one sunflower is going to give you more than one turkey.
Yep. Oh, wow.
And how, it's all of a
I think
sudden-
that's more than enough.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm kind of doing it so that the way it leans is it's leaning towards the wood. So hopefully that'll help it stand up over time.
Yeah, the little curve is.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep that curve going. All right. I think that's good. Oh, well, I'm completely off to the side. We're going to keep going. But look how that is starting to look.
And if you wanted, you could even get maybe different colored floral and kind of make a pattern, all the fall colors.
Yep.
Everybody has their fall flowers out.
Yep, I do. You cut me 2 more because, you know, I'm silly. I swear I was looking at where the round was and thought I was centered. Yeah, and you know, of course, the adults would have to do this portion of it, but very easy for a kid's project too. I love a good kid's craft. This is really cool. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right, cool. Let's add some quick feet and we'll be done. One of the other things that that Lindsay said here was Lindsay said take a thick fabric like a cross stitch fabric. You could even do this burlap ribbon that I have here, and you're gonna cut feather shapes and then have everyone take a Sharpie, and everyone gets their own feather, and then they write what they're thankful for. And then you put that on the back, and I think that's a really good idea too.
Turned out so cute.
It did. Okay, so I have a pipe cleaner. I am just quickly making a turkey foot. You know this. Most people do not. I grew up on a farm, so I know what a turkey foot would look like. All right. And that's really a joke. I've never studied a turkey's foot that closely. Mostly it's from lots of Pinterest and Google. Okay. Lori, you spend as much time on Pinterest as I do.
Yes. I can either be watching Reels or on Pinterest, and it's noon, and the next thing I know, it's midnight. So
Yeah, that's about right.
and I have half a notebook filled with notes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, cool. And we often send those to each other.
Yes.
I'm going to try to do these at the same time. Spread a little bit, but you are right. I'm just going to use the tail end of this, I think. Okay, so you see my little feet at the bottom here.
And this is where the Jenga blocks would really help to make
They would, to make him stand up. And I don't really intend for him to stand up, but look how adorable he is. So, you know, there are many, many different ways to use your Sawgrass system, to use your VersaFlex system. This is definitely something that you probably are doing for your house. If you were to do a different style of back on it, if you were to do a different style of foot on this, this is something you easily could sell. Yes. But this one is kind of something that I would use my VersaFlex system with my family, with my daughter, to make a nice little house project. This next one is something that definitely is sellable. So you really do have both ends of this. One of the things that I really realized in the last week is if you make things like this next project, then you can have the money to have the ink to then do adorable things like this for your house. And I think that's kind of the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
I love it. I
Yeah,
absolutely love
he's
it.
adorable. All right, cool. Okay, so let's move on. So you have seen it. I do have a giant wood round. This with a nice string on the back makes a phenomenal door hanging. Now, be careful when you buy wood. And let's just talk about wood real quick. I have pretty much across the board had solid luck with wood rounds. I haven't seen a lot of issues. If you get the one that is birch, the birch is a little harder. It is more likely to have issues because it just doesn't have as much bounce. It doesn't have as much for it to bond with. But you really are looking for a nice solid piece of wood that's relatively flat. Now my other board that I did a little bit ago, and you may end up seeing it, when I pushed on the sides, it was not completely flat. It was definitely wobbly. And that is something I should have done at the craft store when I bought this, is taken this, put it on a shelf, put it on a box. They all have boxes in the middle now in the aisle, so you have something to sit it on, and just check to see if it was flat. I did not do this. This one seems a lot flatter than the other one did.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be perfectly fine with this. So make sure you have a nice flat piece of wood. What we have learned as we have moved through the months, I always feel more comfortable when it is a thicker piece of wood. Scientifically, it's because of the heat disbursement in the press is why thicker pieces of woods do work. But I tend to, at this point, what do you look for? Because I know the number I look for.
I usually don't go below 1/4 of an inch.
That's where I am too.
Because if you go and you get some of those thinner pieces, they're not actually one solid piece. They're a composite. They're scraps. They're gluing two pieces together, and when you put it in the press, that heat melts that glue. When you go to pull the paper, you're actually separating the two pieces. And so I've seen that quite a bit when you go below that 1/4 of an inch. And then this is about the thickest that I have used too. So
Yeah.
I would say this is about a half.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we sit. Anywhere from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. 3/8 works well.
Yeah.
So 1/4 inch, 3/8 this. This is kind of tending to be that sweet spot. You've said that bamboo is not truly a wood.
No, bamboo is actually a grass. So I did a workshop a couple weeks ago, my Saturday workshop. We did actually that was the Thursday night one. We did a bamboo cutting board, a mini cutting board. And my paper, I didn't get a good transfer. And I went back and I looked in my notes. You have to increase your press time by 10 seconds just to get it to grasp. And then it works perfectly.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you're here this week, because I am preparing for demos next week. A bamboo cutting board is one of the things I am doing next week. So definitely holding on to your knowledge there.
That firmer pressure, and you use the same temperature as wood, just increase by 10 seconds, and you should be good.
Perfect. All right, so let's look at this next project. So I guess I should say, sorry, Rhodes. This is going to have a couple of pieces. So first of all, I am going to press onto the bottom half of the board. There are words. You're going to see there are 3 ways I could do this. One is what I've done, which is I've just squeezed it on the paper. That's going to keep it a little small, but I love the bottom piece so much that I'm okay with the text being a little bit smaller. And then I'm also at the top, we're going to have ribbon. The ribbon is also going to be VersaFlexed. And then I'm going to have my flower on top of that. Like I said, just staple a nice rope to the back of this would make this a nice door hanger. I'm pretty sure this is going to my house and will be my door hanger because I love it so much. So let's go ahead and get started with those pieces. Okay, so these are my color palettes. I think I just Googled fall hex codes or fall color hex codes.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. This is the same color palette that I use all the time.
Yeah, and they're beautiful colors for fall and autumn. All right. So we are going to go ahead and go into my Sawgrass. A little bit different today. So I'm going to start with what I've already created. So instead of going to the design button, which is where we normally go, I'm going to go to my name and click on profile. Now, if you are in the US, you're going to see your studio and your store. Your studio is your personal files. Anytime you just hit the button save, this is where they go. No one can get to them. They are yours. There's no share button for you to share. Everything is just yours that's in here. My store, now you see my share button. I could share this with anyone that wants to purchase. I can share the individual items as well. So that's where you go for that. But we're going to be in my studio today. All right, and I am going to go ahead and open this up in the designer just so I can show you what I did. Lori, I didn't get to talk to you. How do you feel about this font?
I actually like that font.
Okay, good.
Not that there's fonts that I don't like, but that one looks really good for
Okay,
this
good.
project. That kind of sounded strange as it came out.
All right, so I came in earlier, added my font. I used my filter, my favorite function, and did find some script fonts. I did play around with a few and found that I really liked this one. This is just a box at the bottom. I think, Lori, when you saw it yesterday, I actually had this where it was a background. But what I did was I went ahead and expanded my size of my custom canvas. And then this is actually one of our pumpkins that you can get in our elements. It is my favorite pumpkin because it is one solid line. Quite easy to click on it and change the color. In this case, change it to white. What color is it going to be when it presses, Lori?
It's not going to be a color. It's going to be completely transparent because we do not have white ink.
Yep, so you will see the color of the wood through there, which I really, really love. So we're going to go ahead and hit print. Send this over to the print utility, and I am not going to forget this time. I'm going to go check my press temperature, or my press pressure. Watch that for me. Okay, time and temperature stay the same. The only thing that is changing is the pressure. When I do the fabric in a little bit, you're going to see I'm going to use a very high pressure. For this, I'm going to go a little bit lower, but it's still... It's kind of a medium pressure. Jeez. I have gotten spoiled by the other press because though I sometimes forget which direction is which, I can tell like, oh, I went a half click and I can't tell that on this brush.
You only have to do it like one time.
Yeah, it's one big and it makes a huge swipe at it. So I love that. All right, cool. I think we're ready to go. Rhodes, have we had any questions or comments pop in?
No questions, but Angela did say about the turkey you created. It's such a cute project. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, that is one of the most adorable things I've made ever. I'm pretty happy with that.
I can't wait to do that at home.
I know, right? Your granddaughter is going to have a ball with that.
You know, it's funny. Every year we make place settings and she decides where everybody's going to sit. She puts them out. And then because of her actions, we wind up never sitting where she assigned us.
Yeah.
Because she changes her mind and then...
Yeah, you all move around.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has got to be the cutest
She is
little
going to
thing
lose her
ever.
mind.
I know, right? Tell her Miss Rhonda came up with the idea. I love him. He is adorable. All right, cool. Okay. So let's check everything. This one works really well to center it. You'll see why in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and change this to my uncoated wood. Now I mentioned this before. This, and you're going to watch me close over the next few steps, because this is an 11 by 17 piece of paper. This is 15 inches wide. My print is 15 inches wide. So I do not have a tremendous amount of room on either side. I've got about an inch on that 11 by 17. It is, of course, a bigger paper. So if you're not holding it well, it could bend. It could fold into itself. So I've done this morning. I did not have any issues. You are going to see with the peel, I am going to fight the peel just a little bit. And that's because that is 15 inches of peel. So it is a very large peel on wood. And tell me if you feel the same way I do. You have to be faster with the wood than you do with the fabric.
Yes.
Yeah, I think fabric's a little more forgiving if you're a little slower on the peel. The only issue I've ever ran into is because of the design. If there's stuff like kind of floating out on the edges, sometimes the paper will rip depending on how you're peeling it. I have had that issue, and actually, Rog, you know, that maybe help me remember by the end of the year. Let's do our biggest learnings or our biggest flops, because I do have a design that really works well with that concept. So wood, you need to have a solid pull when you're peeling. You need to get going, and you need to keep going.
And do not hesitate. The hesitation will get you every time.
Every single time.
You know, I am one that is oh, look how pretty, and I stop to look, and then I forget to keep pulling, and then I get the paper stick.
Exactly.
But we've worked out a couple things that we can do also.
Yep. And we're going to demo that today, because I said you may see my earlier one, and that's why there's a heat gun sitting on my desk. All right, let's go.
I believe Joel has trademarked that too.
He has that as well. Yes.
He's.
Lori, what are you going to pick up? So Joel's got something about the one-hand peel.
Okay, let me just explain something. You know the Joel method?
The Joel method,
Where
yeah.
he bends the corner?
Yeah.
That was the Lori method when we were doing Chromoblast. How it became the Joel method on the Versaflex, I don't know. Him and I might have to go in the boxing ring over that one.
Yeah, I got the hover and drop, so that's mine. And we're just going to sit and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Joel, I got to give Joel a shout out too. He spent a lot of time coming up with ways when the paper sticks.
Yeah.
We're not going to waste this blank. We're going to salvage this.
Yeah.
So he spent a lot of time coming up with some
And
things.
you know, that is an interesting point, because where my turkey rounds are really, really cheap, this is more expensive. This piece of wood is about a $15 piece of wood.
Right.
If I paid full price, but I love a good coupon. So I never pay full price. But it's about a $15 piece of wood. So you don't want to mess that up. That's why you do want to check to make sure it's nice and flat and all of those things before you leave the store.
And when Joel and I got our test printers, we were using Dollar Tree things.
Yeah.
So, you know, our initial thought process was, well, it was $1. If we can't salvage it, we can't salvage it. But you're right. Now we're going into bigger, more expensive pieces of wood. So we want to have, you know, either be perfect or have a way to salvage.
So you see I'm grabbing these edges, keeping away from the ink. I'm going to do something similar to what I did before. I'm going to shift this hand up just so the text doesn't fall down. And I'm going to make sure that I'm covering the bottom. And then that's pretty much it. And the beauty here is this is a round. So if it is off center, you just turn the round.
Right.
Make sure that my text is nice and on there, and just drop that down. Now, this is what I said earlier. It sticks to this.
And see, now at this point, if you shifted, with your hand, you would get that smearing, but
Yeah.
it just takes some practice.
It does, yeah. All right. And it's all in the technique too. Where am I putting my hand? You use different gloves. She actually flew from Chicago with her own gloves.
My son laughed
because
so
she
hard.
wouldn't. Yeah, because she
Because-
wouldn't use my gloves.
I can't navigate life with those.
There you go.
I have to have my fingertips.
We're all a little different. All right. Okay, and you see how hard this is for me to keep that steady pressure and keep going, but I did. I do think there's a little spot here. It maybe wasn't as much as I would want it to be, but I do love this. And we talked about this earlier with this particular design, the rustic kind of adds to it.
That distressed look.
Yep, definitely.
And that's one of my favorite looks to begin with, so.
Yep. All right, so let me show you what we got. Okay. There we go. Now, again, this is a little more than I would want. I think everywhere else is acceptable. What I probably would do is this would be another spot to maybe add some extra flowers, some leaves, something kind of decorating it. Since I'm doing more than one technology on it, may just add a little something down there. All right. Okay, so did you see there's a piece of paper stuck? So what I'm gonna do, thank you, I have a pair of tweezers and I have a heat gun. I'm going to just heat this slightly, and that is just going to be able to grab that and pull that up. Just that easy. And actually, Lori, will you hand me the other one? Yes, so I want to show you, that one was more out of the field. So I want to show you one that is actually on the ink to show you that it doesn't impact the ink. Will you heat for me? I may have to peel a little bit. And this is where I always burn my hands. All right, but yeah. And you can just grab that and peel that off. It doesn't impact the ink
Right.
at all.
And I have actually, other than heating it up, I've used water.
Yep, you
Spritz
said
it with
that.
water and then just kind of rub your finger over it a little
Yep.
bit.
Yeah, that works too. So if you do have some paper stick, it's most likely going to be on the wood. Don't panic. There are ways to get it off. I've even quickly peeled it off while it's still hot. That piece, the first piece, this one, that's actually probably what I would have done
Yeah.
with this, is I probably would have just grabbed it, the one that was up here. But yeah. All right. Okay, so let's talk about our ribbon. Same thing, I've already got my pattern saved. I'm just managing post details because I don't need to change anything. I just need to print.
This part of the program is a great time saver when you have those types of designs
Yep.
that don't need any editing.
Yeah.
That and recents.
And recents, which we will show you when we get over into the program. I did think about doing the pumpkins and doing some upside down. So if when I'm doing the ribbon, I don't have to be so concerned about the direction of the ribbon and all of that. I did consider that. And you made the suggestion, and I ignored you, but you did make the suggestion that we actually do like leaves would work well for this. You could do leaves on this. You could do several.
Candy corn, anything fall related.
Anything fall. Because I'm so pumpkin heavy on this, I just stayed with the same pumpkin. But yeah, you could move into leaves. You could move into a lot of different things here.
You could do pumpkins and leaves, maybe alternate, you know, you could do
Yeah.
both.
And I'm going to be honest, the reason I did not was I was worried about them being the same thickness, and because they weren't in the same collection, the thickness was a little bit different, and I didn't want to worry about all of that. Okay, so I'm going to space these out as far as I can across. There we go. All right, cool. All right, so here the big thing is we are doing this on cotton. We are doing the tabloid.
And I think this is something that throws people too. They don't realize that you can put 4 sections on a sheet of paper and you do have enough time.
You do.
That
Yeah.
ink isn't going to be,
Yeah.
you know, I like to use as much of the paper as I possibly can. So I try and, you know, fit everything on there. Although I will say, Rhonda, in my workshops, it looks like I put one thing of paper, one item on each piece of paper, because I'm always holding it up going, this isn't garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just during my workshops because it's,
All right. Lori and I actually had a debate about this ribbon. I did not get time to do a test print, whether this ribbon would require a pressing pillow. So are the edges high enough off that you're going to have trouble getting a solid press in the middle? Our assumption is no, we don't need one. So we're going to go with that, but just letting you know.
Yeah.
Lori, can you start cutting those apart for me, please? I'm going to crank down this press. Got closer than I thought I would.
and I hope I left you enough room to grab here.
I think you did. I think I'm good. Okay, good. And we need nice, heavy pressure on this. Too heavy. Okay, cool.
And the one thing you do want to remember when you're cutting them out, to keep your cutting hand up. I've done that where I'm cutting and my other hand goes right through what's to
Yep,
on the other side.
quite easy to do. Is this my tail? Are those the same size? Yes, those are the same. Okay.
Yes.
The reason I'm saying this is because this is my tail, I'm going to have to pretty much have it so it's half and half, or some of my pumpkins will be upside down. All right, so one of the questions we do get asked often is, you know, I'm doing this in sections. Is that going to impact anything? No. You do want to cover it with paper, any section that's under the press that's been pressed, just so you are not getting any ink on the top of the top platen of your press. Now, Rhodes, do we have a question?
No, we are still caught up on questions.
Oh, you look like we had a question.
Now, if by chance you do get some of the Versaflex on your top platen, just take a wet cloth and heat your press up and carefully just wipe it off. It will come off.
Okay, I really should have worn gloves. All right. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. All right. I'm going to do the next section, and I'm going to do it the opposite end. You just almost didn't do what I told you. Almost left them.
Then we could have taught them how to clean the press.
Yeah, we could have. We've taught them everything else today. Why not?
No, it is. I have accidentally made that mistake with the finishing press. Forgot to put it. I don't even know what I was thinking. Obviously nothing because I got it on the top, and it came off really easily. So
Yeah, good.
it actually came off easier than traditional sublimation ink. So there's that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. All right, let me figure out this middle section. Hand me the scissors, I may have to cut it. All right, so what you're gonna see is I am laying this next to it and deciding where my pumpkins need to end. I'm gonna go in and just cut around this guy. Now, could you do this on the computer and make your life a whole lot easier? Yes. But as we've stated, Rhonda has a million projects going on, so we're gonna punt. All right. But I think this also shows how flexible this is as far as not worrying too much about, you know, touching it or how long it's been out of the press. It's not, you don't have to worry as much as you think you do. All right. Lori, will you go ahead and hit print on another sheet? Well, no, we'll wait. We still got one more to do. And this is the big wait. 30 seconds seems a lot longer when you're doing this.
Right? It seems like you don't have enough time when you're doing it on your own when it's live. Like during my workshops when I actually do press things, I'm like, should I have elevator music? What's going on here?
Right? How do we keep talking? All right. That's pretty darn good. All right, Lori, show that off.
So yeah, this ribbon worked out really, really nice.
Yeah, this is a beautiful ribbon. We were talking about this, you know, a lot of us have tried burlap of different types. This is a really nice fine weave on the burlap, which works really great.
Yeah, I will say I have a looser weave burlap fabric that I'm not giving up yet. but I'm struggling with the peel. This one worked really nice.
Yeah, it is really good. And this is, I told you, this actually is something I got at a craft store. Will you hit print for me? So this is actually from a craft store. I just went in and I looked at their ribbon and looked specifically for a tight weave. So I was looking, and then I compared the colors. I really like this one because it is on the lighter side, so it works really well. As far as ribbon goes, we're doing pumpkins, but of course you can do initials. You can do names. We're looking at some Christmas projects. We're actually doing the name for the ribbon on the gifts. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so if you saw me, I had a few little pumpkins left over from last time, so I've thrown them on there just because I know it's going to be a tad bit short.
And I think one of the areas people worry about too much is trying to be too perfect. Mm-hmm. Don't try and be too perfect.
Yeah.
Because you'll never be too perfect. You know,
Yeah.
just go with it.
Yep. Oh, yeah, love that. And you're seeing, we're letting this sit. This is not impacting it. We can let this sit. It is going to be okay. You do have that 10 to 12 minute window, so it's not as small as you think it is.
I personally wouldn't push it past 15, but you don't have to. It's not like you're sprinting to the press with any of this.
Right. And I think that's the worry, is I think by us giving the warning, people think you have to sprint.
And because I was on the testing team, we learned a lot of things in that process, such as don't send 2 wet prints to the printer at the same time. Print number 1 is going to get ruined.
Yeah.
You know, and all those fun things that you
Yeah.
probably knew, but you needed to have our results
Yeah.
be organic. And
Yeah.
if you have the VersaFlex inks, just don't be afraid. Just jump in and try it.
Yep, exactly.
And then if you hit on something that we haven't done and it works out wonderful, email us and tell us.
Yeah, exactly. It's always fun to learn. All right. Oh, perfect. Have the scissors. Thank you. And this orange I really, really love. I originally had a brighter orange, but I realized that it just worked better to have that kind of darker orange in
It's
it.
a nice contrast on this kind of a beigey color.
It is, definitely. And again, I could have made my life easier and measured this out really well on the computer. But I also want you to see that even if you do have little gaps or little oopses, it works. You can still piece it together.
I really do think too much emphasis is put on being perfect, and we're not always going to be perfect 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And see if you can salvage things.
Yeah, definitely. That. All right, one more to go. Now you're noticing I'm not doing a finishing press on this ribbon. I definitely could. No one's gonna touch it, so the feel's not gonna matter as much. This isn't gonna get washed. So those are the things that usually that finishing press are more important for. I mean, someone may touch the ribbon, but I don't know that they will.
I think the big thing is the wash on that, and you don't wash the ribbon, so.
I feel like this may be too much off the press, guys, so that's why I'm wiggling it. Okay. Okay. We'll just go ahead and let that finish. We have 2 more presses. Any questions or anything, Rhodes?
No, we're still good on questions.
Awesome. Perfect. And where are we on time, Rhodes?
It's 11:07.
Oh, we went long today. Oops, I did it again. All right. All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, now this is where you have to be careful because the piece that I want, I need to make sure I'm holding on to it so it doesn't hit the floor.
And the longer ribbon is one of the reasons I decided that I would go with the bypass tray and the 13 by 19 paper, so that I didn't have to do as much piecing together. So
Yeah, and I could have done this a different way. But still, we've done this in what, 2 prints?
Right.
And we've let it sit. There's been no issues with that, so perfect. All right. All right, perfect. Okay. Let's quickly get this put together. We hand this to Rhodes. There it is. All right. So I'm just going to take this, fold this over slightly. I could put a drop of hot glue just to hold it. It will be just a quick dot.
Get your fingers out of there, Rhonda.
I know, right? Same thing here.
It's like we're performing surgery.
I know, right?
You're playing the game Operation.
Oh,
We
I'm
are.
bad
If
at
it
that
touches
game.
Rhonda's finger, she's going to
Her nose will blink.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. And then I am just going to put this here. Okay. Now, you're going to make my ends of my ribbons cute, aren't you? When all is said and done.
Yes. We're going to dovetail those.
Yeah. All right. I just, for my string, this is just a piece of the edge of the ribbon because it is a wire ribbon. So I knew I could use this to pull this nice and tight. All right. All right, Lori, make my robe pretty.
Okay. So now, and I always have to think about this. You just fold it. And cut diagonally. You want them about the same length. If they're one's a little shorter, it's not a huge deal. But you cut your triangles out.
Yep, and then let's zhuzh my bow. I'm not worried about covering that center. You'll see why in just a second. And you see, again, it goes to what Lori said. You don't have to be extremely perfect. A lot of my little oopses on the ribbon don't really matter because they're getting covered up in the way it's done anyway. So I did zhuzh. I went left on one side and right on the other. Okay, there you go. Put a good dollop here.
I think your fingers should be good on this one. I think it's thick enough.
I think it is too. Good.
And now what some people also do is just a little added measure, is they take the staple gun and they get in here and push down, and
Yep.
that gives it just a little bit extra.
And you know, the other thing here is if I had done the Hello Pumpkin with vinyl, I wouldn't have to worry so much about the ribbon covering it. So I could put the Hello Pumpkin, position it wherever I wanted to with that. I hope I've got enough of that stem cut off. All right. I guess it wouldn't matter. I can move that around a little bit too. All right, cool. Okay, there you go. Rhonda's fall door hanging.
And I bet this does, I bet it does wind up on Rhonda's front door.
It does, yep. All right, all right, so I'll reglue this as we leave. Remember, no workshops next week. As far as mine go, Lori's will still be on Thursday nights as usual, just without me. We do have those podcasts that have dropped this week, so please make sure to go check those out. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music as well. And I just went a little higher on the glue on that, and I think that's going to work better. And Lori, thank you so much for being with us this week and joining us.
Thank you for having
And
me.
there's our door hanging, and here is the world's cutest
Cute
turkey.
little turkey. I love him.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And you know, when you add the bow, when you add everything else, you don't even see that's a little bit faded. It actually adds to the rustic
Yeah,
look.
I love that rustic look. And another thing you could actually do is it's wired ribbon. You could crinkle it up and glue it down in other places.
Yep. And make that better.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Bye-bye.
Bye.